Welcome to the Fantasy Football Hub YouTube channel. In this video, I'm going to be revealing my team for Game Week 6, where my triple captain is active, and I've already made 2 transfers for a hit. First of all, though, we need to look back at my team from Game Week 5. I ended up bench boosting in Game Week 5, and I actually had a pretty good week. I mean, for a single Game Week bench boost, to get as many points as I did, I'm very happy with. 60 points total. A huge rank jump, almost a 2 million green arrow up to inside the top 2 million. Still not where I'd love to be, but to be fair, I will take halving my rank. And yeah, I got pretty lucky, to be honest. Sanchez red card, obviously a shame, but apart from that, everything went really well. So I ended up with my bench boost being Sanchez, who got -3, and then I benched Nico Williams, who spiked a goal, got very lucky there, and a Stev. What are we on there? We're on 11 points. And then Reinders was the last player on my bench with 9 points. So 20 points from the bench boost. It's very good. I mean, I would take that in a double game week all day long. So to get that in a single game week, very fortunate. Obviously, got quite lucky there. Sanchez, I suppose, wasn't the best luck. I could have played Dubravka on the bench boost, but I was always playing him in my first 11. So yeah, happy with that. Got lucky as well with Reinders losing his DEFCONs, really. At least he should have lost them after the final whistle. But because when the game had finished updating and it was locked in, he still had 12 defensive contributions. He kept those 2 points. Fortunate once again. Let's go through the rest of the team. My transfer was actually Murillo out for Senesi. If you remember back to the last video, I said I didn't want to make a transfer, but I was forced into it due to Murillo's injury. And that worked out very well as well. Senesi came in, looks to be one of the best defenders, if not the best defender in the game. Again, very solid performance from Bournemouth. They look like an excellent team. Senesi, so good for defensive contributions. And interestingly, he would have got an 11-pointer if not for a misplaced pass in like the last minute of that game. He tried to just sort of play someone through as the game was coming to nothing down the right wing. That went out of play. And because of that, his pass completion dropped to 79%, causing him to lose 2 bonus points in the BPS sort of ranking system, which then actually caused him to lose 2 actual bonus points. So it could have been more for Senesi. But yeah, he looks like a very, very strong player, a very solid pick. Happy with that. Let's talk about the rest of the team. Anderson, once again, doing sort of what I expect. I mean, I would have liked a clean sheet in that game, of course. I thought it was a pretty decent chance, Fulham at home to Brentford, but if you're not going to get a clean, at least get the DEFCONs, and that's what's so good about him. Porro disappointed slightly, of course. Estev and Dubravka getting 4 points each, again, without a clean sheet is really phenomenal. Then we move into the midfield. Salah, again, disappointing. His first probably like strong return of the season in terms of a very good assist, but it wasn't a high XG chance for Gravenberch at all. And outside of that, didn't really do too much in the game. Reinders was excellent. Obviously very good for the goal. And so happy to have him in my team. He's played 90 minutes. I think he's played every single minute, in fact. I'm not sure he's been subbed off yet in the Premier League. And City obviously now have Burnley at home. So happy to keep him. Semenyo, yeah, it's just a great pick. I know he's 7.7 million now. I got him at 7.2. I still think he's worth that. I still think he's worth 7.7. I still think he's worth, to be honest, 8 million. 90-minute man, looks to be on penalties, so consistent in a very good Bournemouth side, and also importantly, he's shown that he can get defensive contribution points as well. I mean, a blank, but he's come away with 5 points. Phenomenal, really. The problem players are, of course, Florian Wirtz, who I'm not going to reveal just yet what my transfers are this week, but he's in massive trouble, is all I'll say. Again, like, not only did he come off the bench, and look, if you told me he's going to start 4 of the first 5 games and come off the bench in the other one, I still probably would have picked him in pre-season. It's just like, I don't know, it just still hasn't looked that good. Even when he got that chance late on, dropped back inside, Tarkowski came and recovered. I'm just not sure if that was like a player that I see as being full of confidence, ready to score goals from an FPL perspective. I know a lot of you are probably surprised that he's still in my team, but yeah, again, disappointing. And then Paqueta, I'm looking back at that transfer thinking maybe that was an error. I got him in 2 weeks ago for Tottenham and Crystal Palace. The idea was to bench boost with him this week at home to Crystal Palace, or at least not bench boost with him, but have him in the team, actually benching Reinders away at Arsenal. That was the reason I went for him, to be honest, ahead of Illiman and Dye. Now that looks like it might be a little bit of a suspect move. I actually said at the time, is it worth not getting in someone who I think is a slightly better pick for Paqueta just because he's got a better Game Week 6 fixture when I want to bench boost? Maybe I've answered my own question there. We'll see going forward. He's going to stay on my bench for the next couple of weeks, almost definitely. He's only 5.9 million. Then we get into the forwards. Disappointing, very disappointing. João Pedro we can let off. I think he played very well in the game, but obviously the red card changed that one. Watkins and Wood. Watkins especially, just Villa look shocking. They look so poor. The lack of width, I think, is really killing them. The lack of genuine wingers in that team and pace out wide is a big problem. And I think they need to find a new solution to break down teams that are sitting back and letting them have the ball. Not as easy as the last couple of years anyway. And then Wood had a couple of chances, but again, Forest look poor. Murillo's already gone from my team. Wood might be on his way out as well, but overall, 60 points, a very healthy green arrow. I'm very happy with the team, at least last week. Now, the main point of me sort of being happy with the team, I suppose, is the fact that I'm not going to wildcard in Game Week 6. A lot of people out there are wildcarding. I'm not going to be. As I said in the introduction, I've already made 2 transfers. Let's have a look at my team for the upcoming game week. Transfers not yet inputted here on Fantasy Football Hub, but I'll do it now. In fact, I won't. Comment down below. What do you think I did? Now, obviously, Haaland has to come in. I think we can all agree on that. He has a phenomenal fixture this week, and my triple captain is active as it stands. We'll talk about him in a little bit more depth just in a second when I reveal my transfers. But the main issues in my team clearly are Florian Wirtz, Ollie Watkins, and Chris Wood, I would say. They're all slightly different. I think Wirtz is the biggest issue. However, he has actually stayed in my team, which is crazy, I know. But he stayed, as has Watkins. What I've done is I've sold Mo Salah and I've brought in Illiman and Dye just because I love him as a pick. It's that entry fixture as well, West Ham at home, which is so good. Also great for Defcons, also pretty much a 90-minute man, or at least plays the majority of games. Also on penalties, everything I sort of like in an FPL pick. So he's come in, and then as you can see, I've got 9.6 million left to spend, and I sold Chris Wood. So it's Chris Wood that went out, despite playing Sunderland at home this week. I just think the fixtures after that for Chris Wood aren't good enough for me to hold. And obviously I had to sell one of my forwards this week to accommodate Haaland. Wood was the fool guy. I just thought, yeah, good fixture this week. But after that, I don't want to hold him. He's going to be a transfer waiting to happen. So I thought I'd just get it done now. So those are the moves I made. And this is how the team is looking with triple captain active on Haaland. My team rating is 93%, 92% gaming rating. Of course, I've taken a hit. And as you can see right now, Wirtz is still in the team. And I think I am just going to bench him this week. Now, the question for me is, who do I play out of Paqueta, Anderson and Wirtz? And genuinely right now, I'm playing Anderson in my team. I just think, Fulham have been pretty solid so far. Aston Villa have been so bad. And I've kept Watkins in my team as well because of the next 2 fixtures, especially that Game Week 7 fixture. Whereas Wood, I think I would have had to have either benched or sold away at Newcastle. Watkins, I'm happy to play in that game. I know they've been shocking, but I'm happy to play him in Game Week 7. So that's why I kept Watkins and Anderson. I think I'm going to play him because his floor, in my opinion, is like 3 or 4 points, right? So for Paqueta or Wirtz to even get there, they have to get an attacking return. I don't think that's going to happen with Florian Wirtz. I'm not even sure if he's necessarily going to start, and I think that Palace away is a tough fixture for Liverpool. Paqueta, Everton away, West Ham looks shocking right now. So all I'm really hoping for with him is that maybe the one goal that West Ham do score is a penalty and he nicks it. I don't love those chances. Anderson, on the other hand, I mean, I think Defcon's pretty much nailed, to be honest. And Villa have been so poor from an attacking point of view that who knows, he could easily get a clean sheet in that game. It's still unlikely, but he could. And I think now that the game's changed and we do have DEFCONs, it isn't actually that outlandish to play Anderson over a Verts, over a Paqueta. Watkins stays in the team, if reluctantly, but he's in the team. So yeah, that is how I'm looking for game week 6. The reason I brought in Dian, by the way, rather than someone like a Bruno Fernandes, who I could have afforded him, was because of game week 7. In game week 7, my plan then is to sell Florian Wirtz finally, and I've got a lot of money in the bank to either get a Bruno, or my plan right now is to get Saka for his unbelievable fixture at home to West Ham. As you can see, he comes into the team, and right there, like, that team is looking very solid. Again, no wild card, and it looks good. What's the game week rating? 91%. The only real poor fixture there I would suggest is Sanchez at home to Liverpool, which isn't shocking. You know, he's going to get save points probably in that game. And then Anderson, the DEFCON monster away at Bournemouth, where again, maybe his floor is 3 or 4 points. Other than that, I think the team looks very good. Obviously, Watkins is still in there, but yeah, that is my loose plan for the next couple of weeks. Getting Saka in for that great fixture, maybe even captaining him in that game. Obviously, Madueke now is going to be sidelined for quite a long time. So with Saka getting back to full fitness, I really like him. I think he also may be a bit of a differential that week. A lot of wildcards I'm seeing in game week 6 have double Arsenal defence, and then Gyökeres. He could be one that just, you know, sort of reminds us all why he's been such a good FPL asset over the previous few years. I'm also not like super keen on double Arsenal defence anyway. I know that sounds a bit crazy because they have West Ham at home, but I don't think it's worth me wildcarding in game week 7 just to get in triple Arsenal. If you look at the players I've got here, I think Senesi at home to Fulham genuinely is as good a pick as a Gabriel in this week because of the DEFCONs. Gabriel is not going to get DEFCONs. Senesi for me is almost starting on 3 or 4 points. And I've said it multiple times, but I'm saying it again. I think like I've realised over the past couple of weeks the value of these defensive contribution points. Now again, I know it's only a small sample size, but like these players, Senesi's hit DEFCONs in every single week. Anderson's on 4 out of 5. Tarkowski's on 5 out of 5, for example. Van Dijk is getting up to those sort of numbers. If we can see that consistency going forward, I'm not sure if it's worth the extra 1.5 million to get in a Gabriel. Obviously, if I was on wildcard, I would get Raya in here instead of Sanchez, or I wouldn't have Sanchez. But apart from that, I think the team looks good for game week 7. Then in game week 8, is probably the time where I would potentially look to wildcard. But again, it's sort of an ongoing question. I don't think it's necessarily, you know, essential to wildcard in this week. But yeah, not wildcarding in game week 6, trying to get as much information as possible, getting at least to game week 8, and then reassessing really Liverpool. Because, you know, selling Salah for Palace away, Chelsea away is fine. Do I then want to have no Liverpool players at all in game week 8 for United at home, Brentford away, Villa at home? That's a very good run that they go on then. So I think I'm just giving myself a couple more weeks to assess Liverpool in particular, see what happens with Isak, Ekitike, Gakpo, Salah. Even if his form looks good over the next 2 weeks, then might be able to jump back on him when a lot of us have already used our wildcards and wildcarded him out. So yeah, all to see over the next couple of weeks. You guys will remember this if you've been around for a while. Last season, that switch that we all made from premiums is sort of back this year. Everyone's selling Salah for Haaland. I'm just biding my time, and I'm doing it myself, but with the wildcard in the back pocket, I can reverse that very easily. So, a hit this week, but I don't mind it. You might be thinking, is it worth a hit to like, you know, you're minus 4 points down, team doesn't even look amazing, game week 6, game week 7, when you have the wild card. But I think being able to utilise triple captain this week is a massive, massive thing. We'll have a look at the fixtures in a second, but I think Haaland is a great pick this week for triple captain. 8.9 predicted points. Now, obviously, there are concerns with what Pep said about his back and injuries there. However, they do have a midweek game against Huddersfield where, you know, he's not going to play. He was never going to play that game anyway. I think surely that's enough time off for him to recover for Burnley at home where they're going to need him. Burnley, maybe you could argue, will sit in and be tough. However, they have conceded the most XG this season. They have conceded the most shots this season as well. And Haaland himself has more XG, I think, than 14 other Premier League teams in total. So I think it's a perfect match. Also, with a lot of FPL managers on a wildcard themselves, they obviously can't triple captain. So I'm thinking about that as well. I don't expect his EO to be over 200%, for example. But yeah, that's the team. Florian Wirtz is staying. Watkins is also staying. But yeah, I quite like it. I'm quite happy with my plans here. And again, my rank is moving in the right direction. I'm enjoying that I'm playing slightly differently to other people as well. Obviously, did well with the bench boost last week. Let's have a look at what Fantasy Football Hub's AI is saying, though, for my team. Just in case it's recommending I do something different. Now, obviously, I've already made those transfers and Dye and Haaland coming in. So I can't change anything this week. But I want to sort of see what it would have said without knowing those moves. Just because maybe I've gone a little bit too early there. I went early for price reasons, I'm going to be honest. Obviously, I was always going to want to get Haaland in. So that wasn't too hard a move. It was just whether I sold Wood or Watkins. Wood has since fallen. Haaland has risen. And Dye as well. I don't think he's going to rise in price, but I was pretty set on going for him over Bruno Fernandes to then unlock Saka next week if he looks good. But yeah, as I said, let's have a look at my recommended transfers. And the recommendation was to sell Wirtz for Bruno Fernandes, which I do like, and I did consider it very strongly. But this obviously doesn't allow Haaland. And I feel like you have to have Haaland. If I change the triple captain to Gameweek 6, which I think will probably force Haaland in to the recommendations, let's see what happens. Still no. Wow. Still recommending not to bring Haaland in. All right, let me do a custom transfer. Let me add a player that has to come in Haaland, because I feel like he's just too strong this week. He's going to be captained by everyone. Kind of have to have him. Let's see what this does to change things. Okay, interesting. So very, very close to the moves I ended up making. This was the alternative, I suppose, to sell Wood, bring Haaland in, which I did, and then actually get Bruno in instead of Salah. I went for Ndiaye, as I mentioned, just to enable Saka in Game Week 7, where I think there could be a lot of upside there. But yeah, maybe that was an error. I'm not sure. Bruno does have a couple of great fixtures, Brentford away, and then Sunderland at home, where maybe he is even captainable in Game Week 7. But I'll make that decision down the line. There we go. Triple captain is active on Haaland. A hit has been taken. Actually, my first hit in about, I think, 16 or 17 months. I didn't take a hit in the entirety of last year. So my last hit would have been the 23-24 season in May. Is that right? Yeah, roughly. So we're going a long way back. But I'm a pretty cautious manager, but I thought that now was the time to go for it a little bit more. Save the wild card, but take a hit. There we have it. Those are my recommendations. As always, guys, if you would like to see your own recommended transfers, link is down below. You can see it top of the screen. Get your recommended transfers now. 50% off. If you are on wildcard this week, I would love to know what your team is. Whether or not you were considering free hitting in Game Week 6, triple captaining, or if you have wildcarded. Can you beat my team rating 90%? Actually, that's without the transfers. Let's see, when I make the transfers, what does that change to? So Haaland coming in for Wood, and Dye coming in for his plum fixture there for, obviously, Salah, 93%. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. As I said, see what you can do. Get your recommended transfers down below. See if you can beat my team rating and drop me a comment. How's your team looking? What do you think about my plans? And yeah, let's leave it there. Wow, I'm sweating. It's hot in my room. Thank you guys for watching. I will catch you on the next one. Take care.